and welcome to the eFresh.com Meat, Poultry and Egg News. Today is the 28th of October. My name is Kim and these are this week's headlines. Challenging year ahead for cattle farmers. Pig industry on alert as swine fever spreads. Taiwan lifts ban on U.S. beef in bone. South Korea to build up livestock breeding. 95% of meat passes safety test in Hong Kong. A high New Zealand dollar and reduced demand for sheep and beef looks set to hurt farmers in the coming year. The latest farm monitoring report showed that sheep and beef profit improved tenfold in the 2008-2009 season, boosted by better prices for lamb, sheep, and cattle. But droughts in both years meant production was lower than usual. Sheep and beef numbers continued to fall last season, and the average stocking rate is now nearly one stock unit per hectare lower than it was 2 years ago. Production was expected to recover this year. However, farm gate prices are predicted to fall for all products due to the rising exchange rate and reduced demand in some markets. As a result, sheep and beef farmers are budgeting to make cash loss of $18,000 for the 2009-2010 season. Europe's pig industry was put on alert after a devastating disease was confirmed in northwest Russia. It had been thought African swine fever had been confined to Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. Vets have, however, confirmed the disease on farms near St. Petersburg, 1,242 miles away from the last outbreak. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations said the discovery confirmed its worst fears, as the virus had now shown it could be transported over wider geographic areas. It warned Europe, countries surrounding the Black Sea, and in a worst-case scenario, Central Asia and China, home to the world's biggest pig population, could now be at risk. African swine fever infects only pigs and is similar to classical swine fever. Taiwan agreed to lift a ban on U.S. bone-in beef from cattle younger than 30 months by inking a protocol on Taiwan's new market opening measures in Washington, D.C. According to the protocol, the U.S. bone-in beef to be allowed into Taiwan in the initial phase will include T-bone and rib steak. U.S. beef offal will remain on the off-limits list, while further talks will still be needed on imports of ground beef according to the protocol. Senior Media Affairs Liaison Nefertarius Akeli McPherson of the USTR expressed welcome to Taiwan's decision to further open its market to U.S. beef, based on scientific evidence and policies that are in line with OIE standards. South Korea plans to invest more than 1 trillion won, about $848 million into plant engineering and livestock breeding to transform them into viable export industries by 2020, the government said. The Ministry for Food, Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries said it aims to push up outbound shipments to $200 million in the target year from just $21 million in 2008, and transform the country into a net exporter of plant seeds and breeding animals. The country suffered a trade deficit of $62 million last year in those areas, with imports reaching $91 million. Research will be directed towards engineering plants and animals that are more resistant to pests and disease and grow at a faster rate. The Center for Food Safety of Hong Kong said 95% of 222 samples of meat have passed a test on the use of sulfur dioxide. The center collected samples of pork, beef, and mutton from the local meat stalls. 9 fresh beef and 2 fresh pork samples were found to contain the preservative at levels exceeding the legal limit. The test was conducted after repeated detections of the use of non-permitted chemicals in fresh meat in recent years. Under the Preservatives in Food Regulation, sulfur dioxide cannot be added to fresh, chilled, or frozen meat. Offenders are liable to 6 months jail and a 50,000 Hong Kong dollars fine. The center has issued warning letters to the sellers concerned and taken more samples for testing. Thank you for watching the eFresh.com Meat, Poultry and Egg News. See you next time.